Are data centers going to destroy America? Will data centers and artificial intelligence rob our water supplies? Will it drive up our energy costs? What's fact? What's fiction? Here is the truth no one talks about. America must win the AI data center war or surrender the future to the great dragon. Award-winning, four-time best-selling author, technology, pioneer, and futurist, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer presents the definitive manual for winning this war against China, the three-toed dragon. Communist China's secret war to end American AI and data centers. China's relentless drive for AI dominance is no longer a distant threat. Through massive state-backed infrastructure, voracious energy consumption, and strategic control of global supply chains, the CCP is building an unstoppable technological empire. While America debates policy, China executes. This is not another tech trend. It is the decisive battlefield of the 21st century where data centers, power generation, cooling systems, and sovereign energy infrastructure will determine who controls intelligence, economic supremacy, and national security. This fact book, guidebook, handbook, and war plan cuts through the noise with meticulously researched intelligence on the hidden realities of AI data center demands. Exploding power requirements, industrial-scale water usage, heat island effects, liquid cooling breakthroughs, hydrogen and off-grid solutions, semiconductor vulnerabilities, and the strategic choke points China already exploits. It delivers actionable blueprints for American victory, from policy recommendations and energy independence strategies to practical deployment models for rural and sovereign systems that bypass fragile grids and foreign dependencies. For patriots, policymakers, energy entrepreneurs, technologists, and every citizen who refuses to live under digital authoritarianism, this is the essential field manual. America still holds the innovation edge, the resource base, and the will, but only if we act with urgency and clarity. The great dragon is moving at full speed. The time to seize victory in the AI data center war is now. Available on Amazon, hardbound, paperback, and ebook. Read it. Arm yourself. Win.
I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Remember
any way you can, get out and vote. Remember,
if you don't do it, we are so screwed. We are so screwed. You have to get everybody you know, all the gun owners, all the evangelical Christians,
especially
everybody goes out and votes during the midterms, or we're screwed.
Well, they're trying to disillusion you into saying, screw it, I'm not voting. And there's nobody that knows more about that than Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. So let's bring him on now. Jovan, we'll get to that in a minute with the voting, but you write more books than illegals can pop out anchor babies. I have never seen.
That's pretty good. Pretty good analogy.
Now, if I could just get a tax credit for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
actually, you write more books than I send emails. It's
how do you do it?
You
so
are remarkable.
Fast? It's unbelievable.
I have to get this stuff out of my head. By the way, I have to compliment you because as you're talking, these very dramatic points coming in. That fireworks show behind your head, popping off like halos and explosion, is absolutely brilliant because it's driving home both America and how critical this is. But with me and books, it's a simple thing. I just say God lays it on my heart, and I know what I got to research and find. And if I don't do it, I'm not doing my role in this, and I got to get them out. And so, yes, I got to get the books out because we need this in deeper doses to understand the facts, not just 140 characters or less, because when we follow just that, we get it wrong.
Yep, exactly. And I'm going to come right out and say it like I always do. You do have the goods on a full forensic audit in Maricopa County. If anybody has standing, come on out because we have the proof right there. And that's why they avoid you like the plague.
Like
but
the plague.
Your latest book, you have the Gollum effect, which is awesome, about the digital era basically affecting our kids.
Right.
But the three-toed dragon I want to get to right away because all people are talking about is AI and, they're taking away my homes and we don't have enough water and we don't have enough cooling and it's going to pop everybody's electricity bill tenfold when China can just scoot right in and take this from us. And we can't allow that to happen. So we're here in Atlanta. Okay. And the book, The Three-Toed Dragon that you see right there is Communist China's secret war to end American AI and data centers. So that kind of puts it all together right there. But we're in the Atlanta area. And just before we came on the air, you said, yep, you can focus on Atlanta, talk about energy consumption, coal, battery centers. Again, right here in Atlanta, I never knew we had a lot of AI data centers already.
Well, Atlanta, just so you understand, when I say the three-toed dragon, in Chinese history, they started out as the five-toed dragon. That was the benevolent kung fu master society where they were really grounded, good with their people, good with nations, were not combatants like they are now. As that society degraded and each new ruler came in, they wiped out the first dynasty, then they came in as the four-toed dragon, and now we're in the era of the three-toed dragon, which is basically about how communists take over and rule the people. Now, those three toes, here's how it works. They're claws, they're weapons. The first weapon, that's the claw that shapes what people believe is true. It's taking all my water, it's going to kill my chickens. So they shape public belief. Underneath that, the claw then shapes what people believe is right. They'll replace you facts that are not true, but you'll take them as absolute fact. And then the last claw is the clause of legal things they do that makes people accept things as law. And right now with these data centers, it's going nuts. So here's what's going on. I'm going to give you numbers for your own background because I'm going to tell you, we are under psychological warfare. That's the bottom line. China came in originally, when you looked at them getting rid of coal, affected you in your own backyard, and they shut down coal plants or coal mining. Mm-hmm. That was all a con. Why'd they do it? Because America has abundant coal and abundant natural gas. Behind it, China plants these stories. You're killing the environment. You're killing the one-herd purple lesbian earthworm. All this other, it's all psychological warfare. They've learned to move America to make laws against itself. They did it with rare earth minerals. We don't mind those here. Now China has 100% control lock on the market. That's why they have all computing and everything else. But let's talk about the real numbers because you hear the data centers are going to drain our water. They're going to kill us. They're going to do this. Well, Atlanta, your Atlanta area is the third largest data center hub in the United States of America. People only tend to associate data centers now with the AI. No, data centers, it's called Ma Bell, Pa Bell, AT&T, etc. We've always had data centers. They've always been aligned. What do you think is the number one consumer of water? Let's just take it to agriculture. Who's the number one consumer of water in Atlanta? Do you happen to know? And they complain about data centers going to be 5 million gallons a day.
No, I don't.
Coming in at 550 million gallons of water used a day. The metro area Atlanta water supply. Number two, residential apartments alone use 220 million gallons a day. If you look at the wholesale water system that's going on right there, 180 million gallons a day from the Chattahoochee. Outdoor irrigation, outdoor irrigation just for lawns in Atlanta Metro use 120 million gallons a day. 120 million gallons a day. Commercial buildings, 90 million gallons a day. Food, because you have a large food market, beverage market, light industrial, 20 million gallons a day. Hospitals, 6 million gallons a day. The international airport, 3 million gallons a day. Number 10 on the list is data centers at 1 million gallons a day. Well, now, you would think when they talk about this, the data centers are draining everything. It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. And then they'll tell you, well, we're only getting brown water out of our pipes. Here's what you don't understand. In this battle, because they're also in our sewers and septic systems, in battle wars that are going on behind the scenes, they're doing deceptive things to do traditional water supply hubs interruptions. And people are taking this as if we're doing it to ourselves, or the ground is heating up. They're killing the bugs and the weevils and all this other stuff. It is all psychological warfare by China. Here's why. And Tucker Carlson came out, and I'll give you the killer here in a minute. Tucker Carlson came out, and well, if data centers are so bad, why does China only have 350 of them? And why does America have over 5,000 of them? Here's the kicker. China set all of this up, getting ready for manufacturing to control it. China put all its money into the most advanced power grid in the world so China can handle it. Do you know how old our power grid is?
Yeah, I know it's old.
Yeah.
80 years old. We didn't even have color TV.
And China has mapped it.
Our power grid is 80 years old. And so what they're doing is they're executing a plan that's about to bring our grid down, which makes everything flow through China. I'll tell you how that works when we come back in that segment, because it's a doozy. You want to hear it.
Well, and that scares the crap out of me because, remember the balloons? I'm sure they were, mapping all of our electrical grid. China's got that. And China builds a coal plant, I think, every week to week and a half. So obviously coal is not a real problem. They could care less about their environment. You ever see pictures of Hong Kong? You can barely see your hand. Yeah, you can see your hand in front of your face. So obviously the AI race is a huge thing, and China needs to control it. So that's a big thing. Again, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, you can follow him on Locals too, folks. It's like getting an advanced degree. I mean, that's all I can say. Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
I'm not even going to say anything for the next 3 segments. This. If you people don't follow him and take notes for the rest of this interview, you're losing out. We'll be right back.
Have scarred, sharp pains have faded. It's not the old place, but it's somewhere just the same. I'm looking back and thinking fondly of memories that make me who I am. There are the milestones to win. Times will be better. time to think it out. Ask God why. White lines ahead, white lines behind. Looking in my rear view till I lose my mind. Nothing to my left, nothing to my right. Nothing ever changes. Driving through the night, another step away from how we used to be. Counting the days till times will be better. Miles adding up, miles going by. Mile after mile, sheltered by the sky. Never feel the progress. Am I standing still? Looking to the heavens, summoning my will. Miles adding up, I'm closer to my goal. Paying all my dues, finally on the road. Another step away from how we used to be. Counting the days till times will be better. Times will be better. Times will be better.
Times will be better.
They better be.
Keep the faith.
Well, I think
Gotta be.
if they listen to what Jovan has to say, times will be better because we'll fix this before we collapse. Again, the three-toed dragon, as you see there on your screen, folks, Communist China's secret war to end American AI and data centers. Everybody's all up in arms. We've got battery centers that they're going to, battery storage facilities they want to put in our little section of Georgia, too. And, I don't want it, quite honestly. And I'm hearing that it can affect well water and everything else. But this is huge because China, again, has no, they have no restrictions on anything. I mean, we were talking.
This was a planned war.
Mm-hmm.
They needed America. They couldn't conquer America by fighting us head on. It'd be too expensive. They didn't want to lose the resources. Number one, I think their population numbers are total BS. It's not really real. But what they did is they perfected this over time. They got us to shut down coal mining in the United States because it's going to kill bugs, kills animal, kill the water. They did the same thing with pharmaceutical manufacturing, by the way, in the U.S. They did the same thing with our power grid. Now, our power grid is 80 years old predominantly. 80 years old. Here's what they're playing on. They want to get lawmakers, I combat this all the time, to say data centers aren't good. It's going to kill your animals. It's going to kill the bees. It's going to kill this. It's all a lie. Even the consumption lie is all a lie. Well, people are doom scrolling and clickbaiting because they want to sound important. Now, what they're doing is convincing lawmakers to hold off, to hold back on data centers. Why? Because here's what happens. If we ramp up everything at once, our power grid system won't handle it, but we can't wait. That's why the president came out with the State of the Union that technology companies, you have to have sovereign energy systems. Little bit so you know, I am the guy literally designing the sovereign energy systems. I'm right in the middle of this so they can all run on their own power and we can do it. No other country in the world can do it. But see, China didn't worry about 350, saying, well, like Tucker said, well, they only got 350 data centers. Why are they important? They put their money in the grid. Yeah. Now, while they shut down rare earth minerals and they shut down natural gas in the United States, we're just now coming back. They shut down coal. What they did is they built up their power systems. Their power systems can handle the next several hundred years in the future for everybody. So what they're working to do is to attack our system. They're going to do a glitch in our grid. Right now, you talked about, remember when we had the licensed drones in the United States? Oh, they're going to see you naked in the backyard. They're going to see Don in his Speedo out in the pastures and all this other stuff, right? Well, they basically made people register to become pilots for drone on a commercial basis. That registration goes to Beijing, China, and they monitor everything we do. Now, power companies went through it to manage our power lines so they could fly over them and see. Best way to do it. China has already mapped our grid. If they wanted to, they could take a 40-foot piece of chain, go to a very specific place on our grid, drop it. It would take out all of southern LA. Is LA going to be without power? No. What they're going to do is switch and reroute, and it's going to bring our grid down. They're playing for this break in our system. So everybody scrambles, phone, internet, everything we're doing right now, have to have a place to run. Where will that money shift? It'll shift all to China. And we will, the American people, financially bail out China that's ailing right now, and their grid will support it. And that's why this is a battle. This is why lawmakers, it's putting metals in the water system. It's all crap. It's all psychological warfare. They're fighting that America will hesitate. will blink, put in enough laws that all of a sudden we're going to tax our systems. And it's just like in your own backyard. One place is saying they came in and took 800 acres of eminent domain. No, they didn't. The county changed the zoning. Next one, we're bringing in power plants. It's the only thing we can do, not to generate power, but to store power. So you got large battery banks, like a Tesla car, that can store power. Why? We're having to play switching right now with our system to manage what we've got going on, because it's 80 years old.
Jovan, let me ask you this. Any of our elected politicians at a federal level, House or Senate, do they understand anything that you just said?
Only two I know of, and they resisted.
Can you tell me who they are?
Rubio's one. Rubio gets it. You know, Rubio just came out and said, look, for 50 years, there's been a plan to shatter our factories and to move everything, millions of manufacturing jobs to China. Did that happen? It did happen. Then he said, look, they worked to deindustrialize the United States of America. By the way, in case you didn't catch it, that's all this environmental Al Gore crap. Oh, right. You're putting stinkies into the air. You're doing this. Well, we moved everything over to China. That basically hurt our middle class. It's going to hurt more. Then when you look at our critical supply chain, we're literally talking about our power grid. That's critical supply. Every bit of it's moved to China. They 100% control it. And then what this did is this undermined the United States economic strength. This is the strategy. This is why they do this. One claw will make people believe something true that is not true. Another claw reshapes what people believe is right and just, social justice. And then they write laws to block us out. You mentioned it in the break. You know, China right now is paying $7.72 yen for a liter of gas. What people don't understand, though, is there is 3.75 liters to our American gallon. China's failing, folks. They are playing the long game. They just want American people to get alarmed again, outlawed, it's going to kill the cow fly or whatever it is. So China gets it by default. Why? Because they built the grid to support it. And I give you every bit of this in the book. I give you every stack. Every time they've used this play, it's all environmental lawfare to make us fear and doom. Politicians don't study crap. They don't look at the numbers. And that's why I can tell you by city, okay, you want to know the numbers of your city, what data centers do? Here's the third largest in the United States, Atlanta. Look how ridiculous, believing they're killing the water and we can't.
Okay,
well, and not only do the politicians not study it, you've got staffers that either don't get it because they don't have the intellect level, or B, they don't care, or C, they're on the side
they're
of
corrupt. They're in
paid
I
off.
talk about
now,
Chinese
you mentioned two people that are
that get it.
Rubio's one. Who's another one?
President Trump.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we need. Here's the other thing. All of a sudden,
and Vance doesn't get this.
Well, all right.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. All of a sudden, remember Bill Gates said, the environment doesn't really matter. Climate change was a hoax. That's got to tell you stuff right there.
I cover every bit of this in this book.
Yep.
You should not only get this book for yourself so you can push back. You should get this book for your lawmaker. You want to educate your lawmaker on how they're about to sell America's future down the road? Get them this book. See, the difference is people think of it the wrong way. We all got tuned off of mainstream media because we knew they were bad. Don't you know that the bad guys knew we'd be switching over to social? So they planted people, embedded people, curated people. We just swapped allegiances. This book gives the strategy for lawmakers, for citizens, down to the city council, for teachers and everybody to understand what's coming. Here's the deal. If they win this, if we keep on abating data centers and AI, thinking it's the big, bad, horrible crap, everything will filter through China. It won't matter that Twitter wants to block you or YouTube wants to block you, because that's how it's currently done. It will all flow through China. You'll never see it. It will completely rewrite the history of the world, which is exactly what China has done categorically. When a new imperial rule comes in, they wipe out the history of the previous. This is how bad this war is, and people are being being hijacked, and we're paying for this.
All right. I'm going to leave a tease for when we get back for the next segment. I'd be very curious on your thoughts as to why Mitch McConnell's wife, who should be next to a dying husband, is hanging out with the CCP.
Well, a shipping company.
And I'd very much,
goes to the
very much like to ask you that when we get back after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, our dear brother, is in the barn with us. You guys on the break need to go buy that book and get the drumsticks ready because we're going to the drums next.
Ready.
We'll be right back. Yeah! POTUS on the kit. President Trump playing drums. Gotta love it, everybody. Gotta love it. And we got to love these fireworks. And if you're just tuning into the show, you've missed an enormous amount. So I suggest that you go back and watch the whole show. But we decided that we were going to bring in the fireworks from July 4th, the most fireworks, the biggest show in the history of mankind. And that is a 38-minute loop.
It was awesome.
Of the actual fireworks that President Trump gave us on July 4th.
Even on TV, it was awesome to watch.
It was a mind blow on TV.
It was.
And so that's why we spent so much time and effort to make sure you guys could watch those fireworks, our entire show. Okay. All right, let's get back into some business with Brother Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. If you did not buy his books, plural, on the break, you should do so after the show or on the next break, whatever you need to do. But you need to become the smartest person in your room, and the way to do it is to follow this guy and listen to this guy. Jovan, I want to ask you before we get back into things very quickly, I hear your voice in my home 7 damn days a week, sometimes twice a day. How is it that our beloved viewers can follow and listen to your show and become part of your posse and become the smartest people in whatever room they're standing in?
Easiest way to find all my content is use a hashtag no spaces, hashtag Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. Do that in the search stream. Click search, and boom, it will take you to my stuff. But you'll be able to find my name on the platform. But on Rumble, it's really rumble.com/Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. I broadcast 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 days a week. Just remember 777, and remember it's Central Standard Time, and we'll be there together.
And then you too can wake up or come home from work or whatever you do.
And be the smartest person.
And Jovan will be in your house.
Exactly.
I woke up this morning. First thing I said, I didn't even say good morning, baby, to Donna. I said, morning, Jovan.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I heard you coming from the bathroom.
But also on locals.
Look, I must admit, when you came out of the shower, Don, you looked great.
Thanks. Good thing we don't have that on drone footage, huh?
JovanHuttonPulitzer.locals.com also, because on locals, you do take it a little bit farther. And again, it's
I
well
go deeper,
worth it.
and I'm far more candid that I can't be on other channels.
Yes,
that
and
I
that's
do that
true.
On locals.
But your books, I mean, well, we have these other ones, okay? Food Forest Bible, okay? I mean, I just love this, okay? The Countdown to Chaos, which was the first one that I ever knew about when I met you. And again, this talks about how our elections are basically rigged, stolen, whatever.
Would you stop banging?
Sorry, I'm banging. Well, it's always right here.
Yeah, but no, it's right here.
Your new books, The Three-Toed Dragon, which we've been discussing, No Dig Gardening, Food Forest Bible, Countdown to Chaos, Giant Fruit in Small Spaces, and you had one on mushrooms. I think you're also working on. I mean,
I'm doing the mushrooms one. I just released the Grow Soil Bible. That's in my pharmacy series, FARM pharmacy series. Heal yourself, heal your family. There'll be 50 in that one. But yes, this month for July, I released 2, and that was the Three-Toed Dragon we just talked about.
Book of the month. You're the book of the month, boy.
The Jovan book of the month. All right, but
I want to ask about Elaine. Okay, big time.
I think this might be a way that we can actually have a bright spot in all of this, and that goes back to Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, because the Chinese are spending something like $20 a gallon right now.
That's right.
For gas. So
it's working, and President Trump is doing it right. And our system is trying to get President Trump to undo it because it benefits China. And it's also collapsing Iran. But China's the major player we're hurting.
Okay. And speaking of China, Elaine Chao, while Mitch McConnell is in a vegetative state or worse, now, I haven't had a 20-minute conversation with him, but a few people have, allegedly.
So
everybody else has.
Let's look at it this way. If you were a spy and your job was to be embedded, then you must understand the concept of that spy has a handler. They're reporting to somebody. So when you take any foreign agent of any kind and you embed them into a situation, you don't use standard communications, right? Communicating, because you'll get your butt caught. So a lot of that is face-to-face. So I ask you a question. Stop thinking about somebody's wife or whatever. Think about if you had an asset in the U.S. you were controlling and you had somebody closely tied to them, and then that person, let's say, died or stroked out, one of the very first things that would happen from an operational standpoint is the embedded handler would get right back to the country to give them a personal debrief on how bad it is. I take it as a sign that Mitch is brain dead, if not dead, and that's why people had to rush to China to have face-to-face. What do we do now?
It's so in your face. How much more in your face can they get? We've had Fang Fang. We had, who was it out in California?
I haven't had Fang Fang. Why'd they leave me out?
and
I don't want Fang Fang.
Who was it that, the senator out in California who had a chauffeur for 20 years that was Chinese she never knew was a spy? I mean, come on. This is so ridiculous.
That was Diane.
Yeah, Feinstein. But all right, so again, the three-toed dragon, which is awesome. Communist China's secret war to end American AI and data centers. The whole thing with Mitch McConnell is if he doesn't, or if the plug isn't pulled by, I think, August 3rd, they don't have a special election. So this is exactly, they're just so undermining Trump any which way they can. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. All right. Now, the Gollum effect, which you see right there, this relates to my kids, okay, because they love the Lord of the Rings. I had no idea what was going on with Lord of the Rings. My kids had to explain it to me. But this is the Precious, the Precious. They do anything they can.
When you look at Smeagol, who is the character that becomes Gollum when he gets that ring, and that was the ring that can control kings, can make kings do things bad. Tolkien wrote about it well over 100 years ago. I used to have nightmares when my technology really took off. If you look, even though Mark Cuban said it was the stupidest invention ever, my technology right now is now in over 20 billion devices globally, and it's used 2.7 billion times a day. 2.7 billion times a day. I used to be plagued, and I'm still plagued with nightmares that I somehow get jettisoned to the future, and I'm seeing my great-great-grandkids, and they're all kind of these grayish figures, elongated necks. They can only look kind of left or right. They got one hand, which is a holder, one hand is a stylus, and they're wrapped up in these machines, and it plagues me. And so I committed a long time ago that I've got to address this, but I've been watching the stats and the numbers. And if you look at any kid, when a parent takes away their device or their game, the first thing out of the kid's mouth, even if it's a well-disciplined kid, is "That's mine. That's mine. You can't take that. That's mine. I need that." I realize there's a direct correlation between that ring in Lord of the Rings and the great message there of Lord of the Rings and what's gone on with devices. So I dived into what's really happening. Literally, our neurological map of our brains has changed. It's the very first time in history this has occurred to mankind at all. And it happened in a very sped up window. What happens is the phone, that's why you see parents, you'll see them making funny videos. They'll have a little bitty baby looking at it and quiet. They'll take the phone, the baby will go to tears and tantrum. They hand the phone back, baby's okay. It has taken over the emotional response and the neurologic response in our brains. And it happens to us as adults as well. I saw a poll not too long ago, said the one thing in your life you can't do without, it wasn't a spouse, wasn't religion, wasn't faith, it was their mobile phone. We have created an addiction that basically came up with an unintended consequences. And it is literally dumbing down people because your body no longer understands how to logically think and or how to cope. And so when a parent says, "Hey, you got to put down that device," the kid will become unreasonable, even if it's a good kid. Dare the parent taken away, the kid goes ballistic. Well, I started tracking how many kids are wiping out their
we got 10 seconds here. But, the main thing is I got young grandkids. I don't want them to even have a phone until they're at least teenagers, but I don't know if that's even going to happen. All right, we'll be back with Jovan Hutton Pulitzer with more right after this. I just sort of got a glimpse of what was in here. I am psyched. Here it is, folks. Turn it around. My Food Forest Bible. Yeah! Yeah, baby. I'll pull it out, see if I can get it out of the box. Put it in between. There you go. Oh, Love it. Love it. Love it. And it's autographed. Oh my gosh. How lucky can you be? I'm going to have to order the one that's not a coffee table book so I can use it every day. This one's going on the coffee table. Love it so much. Thank you, Jovan. Mwah!
Take my hand, I won't let go. You've fallen before, got the scars to show. And I've broken my wings, but I want you to know. Stand by my side, don't let me go. Just lean on me, you are not alone. I'm on your side, yeah, you're on mine. I don't wanna waste another day without you. We're stronger together. Keep holding on, no, you're not alone. I'm by your side. We're stronger together. We've been let down before, but it's alright. Hold me close, squeeze me tight. We won't give in, no, never again. Lay me down, moving close. Stay all night, there's no almost. It's all the way, it's every day. We're stronger in love. I don't want to waste another day without you. We're stronger together. Keep holding on, no, you're not alone. I'm by your side. We're stronger together. I don't want to waste another day without you. We're stronger together. Keep holding on, no, you're not alone. I'm by your side. We're stronger together.
Stronger together. Hey, that too will be released. That's a song that AJ Gaynor and I wrote that many of you have heard over the years. We are going to re-release it under Real America's Music. And when we do, you will be the first to know. Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, let's get back to business, my friend.
We were talking about children and the Gollum effect, which again, this is the whole thing. You know, all you're doing is looking at your phones, and it's ruining children's health. And
when a kid or a teacher or somebody takes away the mobile device, gets their mobile device taken away, they basically feel they have been attacked. This is the psychological effect. Taking away the device, the child melts down. You can see videos on this all over the place.
Yeah.
It's because it has told their brains that you now haven't been attacked, because the device becomes their safe place. They get all their information there. They feel accepted there. They can get whatever they need. It's actually kind of Playtex nurturing them through this. The single largest, fastest growing category of children crimes, not crimes against children, but crimes committed by children, is the category of murder, specifically patricide. Kids are killing their parents for getting their games, devices, social media, or mobile phones taken away. I begin the book by giving you 10, 11, 12 cases of here's how it happens, here were the signs, but you got kids obliterating their entire families because they believe they have been attacked. It's the same reason when you see a liberal and somebody pulls out a phone recording something, the liberal walks towards the phone and then tells the person with the phone, get out of my face, get out of my face, you're attacking me. It's the same psychology. Brains have been rewired in our children. This is a very serious thing that is dumbing down our children. They can't read, they can't comprehend, and microaggression culture, all supported by this propaganda arm, hurt arm, you've been microaggressed. It has now led to the point that we have an actual epidemic. In fact, in the book, I talk about showing MRI brain scans to trauma therapists. They look at them and say, well, this had to be a combat veteran. Maybe this is a police officer or a fireman. It's all the brains of kids addicted to mobile devices and social media.
Wow. So how old should a kid ideally be, or a teenager, I guess, before you can really, I mean, if the kid is young enough, don't ever start them on it.
You should never be setting an iPad or a phone in front of a kid to entertain them, even to play games just to shut them up. It's a death trap. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't give a kid a mobile phone until they were 15 years old.
Damn.
Well, I got to tell you, Jovan, in my industry, which is entertainer transport, if anybody's been living under a rock for the last 15 years, I'm seeing that the critical thinking level of drivers has diminished enormously because of GPS units and because of cell phones.
Yeah,
that's right. It actually changes the way your brain processes information. It creates a neuro disconnect. What it's doing is it's hobbling us. It's taking away our logic and reasoning powers because so much is done for us. And therefore, our brains can't respond quick enough. It's because it is creating, and the way it does it with blue light, how fast it moves. It's almost like a combat situation. It's changing the chemical bodies and reactors in our bodies that we can't react. We become dumbfounded. And if it was a driver, that split second of dumbfounded, unable to make a decision, it literally comes down to life or death in a bad situation.
Wow.
Well, and the thing is, back in the 90s, when I was driving, I had to use those big Rand McNally maps.
Yeah.
I had to study maps and embed that visual in my. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And there's zero critical thinking that needs to be done now.
We got 4 minutes here. I got to get to elections. I mean, this is your wheelhouse, really. And we're getting to the point where there's 90, because I am the smartest person in the room right now, 90 days beforehand, we can't change anything. So we're looking at what? August 3rd. So we've got literally a couple weeks because Congress doesn't even come back half the time before you can make any changes, especially the Save America Act. Is it going to work? What can we do? You got 4 minutes.
Nothing can change right now. We're past the timeline. Can't be done.
Oh, really? Okay.
For the midterm. We are past the timeline. So the president is taking alternative steps. This is why you see Tulsi Gabbard saying, if you do allow illegals on your rolls for the election, you're going to be criminally prosecuted. That will remain to be seen. This is why President Trump has been focusing on the voter rolls and getting those lists cleaned up. And you can't mail the ballots, or the post office is not going to deliver them if you don't comply. These are all the last minute weapons being pulled out because nobody complied. Now, one thing that's on the horizon, a few months ago, I was in a meeting and President Trump's appointee for the Election Assistance Commission was there. I had very specific discussions about what's going on. I was dismayed to understand that the current people that were in the Election Assistance Commission were even unwilling to cooperate with the Trump administration or anybody President Trump placed in. They wouldn't hand over any historical information. They wouldn't hand over any contracts. They wouldn't hand over any guidelines or meeting minutes. Well, in the last couple of days, President Trump has made changes. He's fired 2 Democrats that were on the Election Assistance Commission. He's fired 2. 1 Republican resigned. Right now, we have the ability to completely redo our Election Assistance Commission. Now, this is where it's going to become, because the GOP is going to try to fill that vacuum. It's the machines, it's this, it's polynomials, it's all this crap. President Trump is going to come down to a critical point in elections. He's going to have to make decisions based upon facts, how we fix elections, and how they go wrong. It cannot be based on theories. It cannot be based on popular opinion. Who's most popular, who's most Christian, who's most this, who's most likes. We got to get down to facts. If he reorganizes the Election Assistance Commission and choosing the right people, and just so you know, I would gladly serve in any capacity in this, if we're doing it to fix our elections so we have teeth, we get away from voluntary guidelines controlled by the very companies that make the software, and we just got down to simple business. Run the elections like a business, make sure there's no holes that are intentionally created. If he redoes the Election Assistance Commission, it can get us on the path truly to get our elections fixed in the United States of America. And if one thing he understands, I said it long ago before he ever decided to run, if we're going to fix America, we must run it like a business, not a nonprofit giving out money. That's what he's done. That's why America's roaring back. He now has his chance to leave it on one of our most important institutions, and that's the Election Assistance Commission of the United States of America.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yep.
Folks, you see here, this little phone, it can read QR codes. It can read all this other, and that's the guy who has the patent for all of this, okay?
I kind of laugh about that. As I said earlier, you know, I caught a lot of heat during the dot-com crash, and I caught a lot of heat, Mark Cuban saying stupidest invention ever, but I told him it's coming, here it is, and it's now used 2.7 billion times a day. I happen to know in this category what I'm talking about, and I'll be more than happy to serve my country.
Folks, follow him at jovanhuttonpulitzer.locals.com. And as you see right there, at Jovan H. Pulitzer on all social media. Again, it's the Jovan Book of the Month Club, the Gollum Effect, the Three-Toed Dragon, No Dig Gardening, Food Forest Bible, Countdown to Chaos, which is about the elections, Giant Fruit in Small Places, and there's other small spaces, rather, and there's other ones coming. But, you know, when I go in to vote, I see the QR code right there. Darn it.
Think of you.
And we think of you. And I tell the guy at the election, building, I said, I know the guy who did this. It's all his fault that we don't have paper and programs.
Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, we love you, brother. We appreciate you being here. We know you'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, now the work becomes yours. Buy these books. We'll be right back.
Are data centers going to destroy America? Will data centers and artificial intelligence rob our water supplies? Will it drive up our energy costs? What's fact? What's fiction? Here is the truth no one talks about. America must win the AI data center war or surrender the future to the great dragon. Award-winning, 4-time best-selling author, technology pioneer and futurist. Jovan Hutton Pulitzer presents the definitive manual for winning this war against China, the Three-Toed Dragon. Communist China's secret war to end American AI and data centers. China's relentless drive for AI dominance is no longer a distant threat. Through massive state-backed infrastructure, voracious energy consumption, and strategic control of global supply chains, the CCP is building an unstoppable technological empire. While America debates policy, China executes. This is not another tech trend. It is the decisive battlefield of the 21st century where data centers, power generation, cooling systems, and sovereign energy infrastructure will determine who controls intelligence, economic supremacy, and national security. This fact book, guidebook, handbook, and war plan cuts through the noise with meticulously researched intelligence on the hidden realities of AI data center demands. Exploding power requirements, industrial-scale water usage, heat island effects, liquid cooling breakthroughs, hydrogen and off-grid solutions, semiconductor vulnerabilities, and the strategic choke points China already exploits. It delivers actionable blueprints for American victory, from policy recommendations and energy independence strategies to practical deployment models for rural and sovereign systems that bypass fragile grids and foreign dependencies. For patriots, policymakers, energy entrepreneurs, technologists, and every citizen who refuses to live under digital authoritarianism, this is the essential field manual. America still holds the innovation edge, the resource base, and the will, but only if we act with urgency and clarity. The great dragon is moving at full speed. The time to seize victory in the AI data center war is now. Available on Amazon, hardbound, paperback, and ebook. Read it. Arm yourself.